Hello, sorry I'm a few minutes late. My printer was acting up, of course. It was not printing out what I wanted and then printing out what I didn't want because it's being affected by the pandemic as well, like all of us. So today we are going to talk about screen time. How do you manage screen time during a shelter in place? It's crazy. And I tried to get my kitchen all quiet and get my kids out of here, and now I hear my door opening. And so anyway, we'll see what happens. Wednesday, we started talking about it, and we talked it about, see, I can't even talk right now. Okay, I just need to take a deep breath. We talked about protecting sleep, protecting our relationships, and then protecting our mental health for ourselves and our kids. And so that was kind of an overarching umbrella when we talk about screen time right now, giving a lot of grace and a lot of leeway and trying to be flexible and figure things out, but still knowing that we have to do things to not totally throw in the towel when it comes to screen time with ourselves and with our kids. So today I want to talk about protecting our eyes, our hearts, and our brains. So yes, I'm speaking to parents right now, and yes, I'm trying to provide some help for parents managing kids' screen time, but I think a lot of this applies to us adults as well. I know personally, I put time limits on my apps through the Apple screen time, and I've had to turn those off because they keep popping up like, you're over your time limit, ignore limit or add more time. So that's that. Are you guys there? Can someone comment or like if this is working? Because I just got a text saying, okay, you're watching, you're on. See, technology. Okay, she found me. Someone was looking for me and now she found me. Hi, Alicia. Okay, so let's talk about, again, no one size fits all. We're all in different circumstances with our families and with our ages of our children, and some of us working. So we have to be flexible. There's no one size fits all. But there are some basic things that we all can be doing to help protect ourselves and our kids. And the thing that's really tricky is we're really already the guinea pig generation, the first parents to parent through social media. So our kids are guinea pigs, we're kind of guinea pigs, and while there's experts in the field, a lot of it is still to be unraveled to see what's happening. And while the whole world has seemed to go on pause in a lot of ways, the downsides of the screen time have not gone on pause. So there are a lot of great benefits we are all getting from having screen time and having social media and having phones and having constant access to news and information. But there's still those dangers that exist. I mean, there's the fear of missing out that maybe that's less now, because if people are really sheltering in place, it's like, it's not like they're in Hawaii on the beach posting pictures and you're feeling jealous because you're all kind of just trying to survive in your home. But you can also even have that when you look at other families that are like having their family game night and everything's going swimmingly. And man, we can't even get through a family game night without somebody fighting over something really stupid. So, you could still have some of those downsides of comparison. And then for kids, there's that addictive piece. For adults, the addictive piece. So that's going to affect your brain. And then there's also the inappropriate content that is on the internet that kids don't even have to go looking for. It comes looking for them. And if we're not vigilant about that, and if we're not monitoring and managing, those are going to be two key words today, then it can have some serious effect on their hearts and on their brains. And so it's our job as parents to help them navigate that, even though it's exhausting and we just want to throw in the towel and say, here's a phone, go away for 4 hours, see you tomorrow, that kind of thing. We still have to be vigilant at all ages. Now, it varies with how much monitoring and management there is based on age, but we need to be there for all of our kids. So let me just start by reading something that Jordis's teacher, my daughter Jordis, she's 11 in 5th grade, and her teacher sent out this email that I really appreciated. I got her permission to share. She said to all the parents, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but I'll say it anyway. Please, please, please monitor what your child is doing on the internet. I cannot stress this enough. I mentioned this way back at back to school night, and I reiterate it again. There are lots of dangerous and inappropriate sites that kids can stumble onto, and I don't want to see any child get sucked into those type of websites that can do some serious damage to their mental health. My daughter is a therapist, and she works with kids of your children's ages and have been sadly sucked into these sites. Again, going back to your child's developmental stage, they are very curious and unfortunately, they can be easily manipulated or tricked. So the bottom line is to stay vigilant. we have got to monitor what is coming at them. We cannot just give them a laptop, give them a phone, give them an iPad and say, go look this up, go do this homework. There's got to be protectors on there. Because again, they don't go looking for it and they're innocent, but it will come looking for them. So there's a lot of good resources, but it is going to take some action by us parents. Here's some websites that have been helpful to me that I would recommend. Common Sense Media, a lot of you already know about and use that. We use it for ourselves, my husband and I. When we're going to watch a show, we go look it up on Common Sense Media and see how much violence, how much sexual activity, how much nudity, all of that stuff. Because what do we want to be putting into our eyes, our hearts, our brains? But for kids especially, they run all the stuff through us, and it gives a good breakdown. There's a lot of other good resources on Common Sense Media besides that, but that's our main thing we use it for. Also, protectyoungeyes.com. This one is really cool because it will break it down by device and apps. I mean, you could look up your Chromebook, your iPhone, and it will tell you how to navigate stuff. And then the apps too, it'll give you reviews on the pros and cons. And I just read a long thing on Snapchat. Like, if you're going to give your kids Snapchat, here's some things that you can do to help hopefully prevent some of the inappropriate content. It's out there. No matter what we do, we could do 40 million things and kids can still work around it, as can the hackers and things like that. But we still need to do our job to do the best we can to try and put those things in place. So Common Sense Media, Protect Young Eyes. Also, speaking of inappropriate content, I won't get into all that we know about pornography and how it is harmful to relationships, but especially to young brains and young minds that don't really know how to process that. So they see this stuff, they can't unsee it, they feel shameful, they don't want to talk about it because it's awkward, and a lot of times they stuff it and it affects their behavior, and then maybe later it'll come out. So we have to be really careful with that kind of thing. FightTheNewDrug.org is a great resource that gives information about pornography and its harms and dangers from a scientific perspective. And then also so that's FightTheNewDrug.org. And then JoinFortify.com is a great resource if you are struggling with addiction to pornography, or if you think your kid might be. So those are some really good resources, and we'll post those again on our social media. And then something that's pretty simple and free is, if you have iPhones has their own screen management program that's actually pretty good. That's what we've been using. You can have one person be the manager of it, but you can set limits and blockers and different things. So when your kids want a new app or something, they have to go through you first. So take advantage of that. You can just Google that, or we'll post a link to how to get that set up in your phone. It's kind of a pain at first, but once you get it set up, it's way easier. I used to use RPact, and I liked that one as well. It was a pain to set up, and it's not easy, and all this stuff is exhausting. So I know it takes work, but our kids need us. They need us to parent them in all ways. And I know we still need to do pandemic parenting. I know it's hard, and it's even harder now in a lot of ways, and we just want to throw in the towel, but we can't. They really need us. They need us for our love, our connection and guidance, but they need us to protect them as best we can from the dangers of the internet, because there are a lot. I'll just tell you just personal experience on one app, TikTok. Okay, so TikTok is all the rage for all the ages right now. It's got 800 million active users. I've been playing with it, making some dances. It's actually a really fun app in a lot of ways, but that too has its downsides, and you've got to be talking to your kids about it. There is a lot of sexualization of young girls on that app, I'll just say that, and they don't even have a clue. But I'm going to make a statement that's a little bit bold and probably not popular, but I don't think there is any good reason for an elementary school kid to be on social media, period. Yes, TikTok's a fun app, but an elementary school kid should not be on there. Now, if you want to be on there with them, if you want to put it on your phone and make a dance together, that's one thing, but to give them unfiltered access to TikTok for them to go search through it, there's just too much on there. And that goes obviously with the other apps too, but TikTok being the rage, and it's so fun and cute, but that's not all it is. And when they're young, they need our help processing that. So if you want to do TikTok with your young kids, you be the boss, you do it with them on your phone. Okay, that's TikTok. But again, you can go on protectyoungeyes.com, and it'll go through all these apps with you and break stuff down. Because really, those eyes, the stuff they're seeing is a window to their hearts, and it's going to impact them. And some stuff you see, you can unsee, and it can be really traumatizing for a child. Also, their literal eyes. I wasn't even really thinking about this, but I posted something on my personal Facebook page that I was going to do this, and my friend Dr. Sue Risto, you might know her as Sue Putnam, is a local optometrist, and she said, don't forget their eyes, that if you're looking at a screen for 20 minutes, every 20 minutes take a 20-second break. So you're looking at your computer, your phone for 20 minutes, take a break and look at a bird over in the corner or something to protect your actual vision. So I thought that was awesome. Thank you, Sue, for that tip. So that's monitoring, staying engaged as a parent, looking at what they're looking at, using those resources and get them set up on your phone. And then management. Management has to do more so probably with time. And this is a tricky one. The American Academy of Pediatrics does give some guidelines here, and it's different for all ages. I would say I totally agree wholeheartedly with kids under 2 should not be really looking at screens. I think now they've adjusted it to say up to 18 months, and then 18 to 24 months with parents limited, and then 2 to 5 years old, 1 hour of screen a day. And I know some of you are like, no way, they need more than that for me to survive. And there's no screen police right now. You're doing the best that you can. But, and it's temporary, these circumstances, but in general, the younger they are, the less screen they should have. And obviously they're FaceTiming grandparents and they're doing Zoom stuff now, even at a young age, because that's part of the mental health survival. And if you go on our website, teenesteam.org, we have some parent ed videos that are more applicable, I'd say, to the younger age group. I have an 11, a 13-year-old, and a 16-year-old, so I'm probably going to favor talking about that age group a little bit more. And a reminder, your teenagers, your kids are not going to like this. They are not going to be jumping for joy when you put on the screen time management and they have to have you put in a password and for you to limit their screen time. They are not going to like it, but they need you to parent, even though they push you away and act like they don't need you and they're so old. Most kids cannot self-regulate this. Most adults cannot self-regulate this. Like I said, I put it on my own phone to give me a reminder when I've been on social media for an hour. So it's going to be tough and they aren't going to like it, but they need parents to help them. Some kids maybe are great at self-regulating and they just want to go outside all the time, and you maybe parent those differently, but most kids do not have the brain development to do that. And most kids will, a lot of kids will sit on screens all day if you let them, and they won't go exercise and they will barely listen to their bodies to go to the bathroom or eat, and you totally know what I'm talking about, and then they'll be really crabby. So management, some basic rules I think apply during shelter in place, pandemic, whenever. Don't let them have their phones in the room after a certain hour at night. They need to be charging outside of the room. They should not be up on their phones till 4 in the morning. Let's see. Also in the kitchen, keep the phones out of the kitchen when you're eating a meal. Make that a family time that you connect. And we have it in the car, but that doesn't apply because we're not really going in the car much these days. But you might want to consider if you're going to allow a desktop or a laptop in a bedroom to keep the door cracked or opened. Otherwise, just keep those computers maybe in the main area. However, if you've put on protective devices and filters, you'll feel a little bit better that hopefully that stuff's not going to pop up or they're not going to search for it, because they are curious and hormonal, and it doesn't mean they're bad kids, but it happens and it can cause harm. Okay, I'm feeling a little long-winded, so I'm going to try and wrap it up here. Let's talk about responsibilities. So I got a text from a girlfriend this morning who was like, oh, I'm at the end of it. My kids are just on their screens. What are you guys doing to help with this? One of the things is to break up their screen time to make sure they have responsibilities. By the way of chores, walking the dog, you can have rules like you don't get your screen until the house is clean. Not the whole house, but get to your chores, get to your homework before you get to your screens. That's something that we do. Spring break's we're on spring break right now. So our rule in this house, and this doesn't have to be your rule, is have your chores done by noon or within 30 minutes of waking up. So if you don't wake up till 1 p.m., which is possible with a teenager, then within 30 minutes, get your chores done. Then you can have your screen time. They don't have school. And so this week they're having a lot more screen time than normal, but they don't have as many options. I think my kids wish they were at their friend's house making slime and things like that, but we're here. So we got to be flexible on that. How much time? Every kid's different. Every age group's different. I'm giving my kids way more screen time than I normally would. I feel like the screen is almost their full-time job, because when we were monitoring it and managing it during the school hours, and I have one child in particular that wants to push and have a very lot, and it's hard because they compare it to their friends, and their friends have so much. But I will add up the hours and like, this is like a full-time job. If you have this much time for screen, please get a full-time job. But right now, during spring break, I'd say they almost have enough time for a full-time job. Let's see if there's anything I'm forgetting. I think that kind of covers it for managing and monitoring. There's filters you can put on the internet browsers. We use one called Covenant Eyes. I think that might have like a little religious base to it somehow, so just heads up if you see that aspect. It's really good otherwise. Not that it's bad if it's religious, but you know what I'm saying. It filters their searches, and you can set for each kid, like for a teen or mature or this age group, so they can't access certain websites. So managing and monitoring to help protect their eyes, their hearts, their brains, because the addiction piece is real. It affects the same neural pathways in their brains as a chemical addiction. When they're getting those hits of dopamines from their likes or from their video games, excuse me, I have a frog in my throat. It can cause addiction. So that's something to keep an eye on that could really be exacerbated right now. So make sure you're breaking up their time pieces. And we even have screen-free 1 day a week during this pandemic, shelter in place. Thursdays are our screen-free day. Now, as a family, we can watch a movie or something, but it's got to be with the family. We don't count the family screen time as their screen time. But that's a way to just break it up and give them a taste of, okay, you can live without a screen for a day and survive. So I know this is hard in every way. Oh my gosh, I need to drink something. Hold on a second. Not alcohol. Little cough there. It's not a corona cough, don't worry. And so I know this is all really hard stuff, and it's easy to throw in the towel and easy to say, just do whatever you want, but that's not what your kids need. They do need you to help manage and monitor even their screen use as it's age appropriate. We will repost the resources I talked about online. Remember to take a 20-second break after 20 minutes of looking at a screen to protect your real eyes. But our kids need us, maybe now more than ever. They need us to be available and connecting with them in real life and protecting them from some of the dangers that are associated with screen time. Okay, thanks everyone. I'll see you on Monday for a little fun day. And then Wednesday night at 7 p.m., I'm going to be on Facebook Live for local church CPC. They've been having community leaders get interviewed, and so I'm going to represent Teen Esteem on Wednesday at 7. So be sure to tune in there. And then we'll also have another parent ed at 1 o'clock on Wednesday. So come join us for all the live fun. All right, now I can release my children. They've been like locked in their caves. I'm going to let them